Okay, so I'll start by introducing myself. I'm Ritto. So I write a lot. I'm a writer come comic artist. So here today I'm going to test one of my stories. Something that I'm planning on working, turning into a comic. So it's a series that I'm considering creating called TARAKOTTAI. So this TARAKOTTAI, right? This place is a fictional village, kind of sandwiched between Kerala and Tamil Nadu. That is the premise. I mean the location, the setting. So in terms of genres, one of my favorite genres that I love in terms of stories is horror, and particularly there's a genre of horror called cosmic horror, or another word is Lovecraftian horror. So the thing about Lovecraftian horror is that it relies on trying to make you as an audience feel as insignificant as possible. Like literally you have no power against whatever threat you're facing. So this particular story that I written, it falls under that genre. So hope you enjoy this. So this story is about this guy called Sham. He works in a bank. He's a banker, and he lives in Tarakottai. And one day while he's coming back from home, he sees a giant mango tree. And from that mango tree, a mango falls down, like a really fat mango, almost as big as a papaya. He's like, okay, cool, I'll take it. He takes it home, and he decides to eat it. But when he's cutting it open, he notices something really strange. The knife just goes through it. There's no seed in this mango. So it's good only. Yeah, what can be better than a seedless mango, right? So he just eats it, he enjoys it. Next day, when he wakes up, he notices that his bed is muddy. Like there's a lot of mud and dirt in the bed. He's confused until he realizes that he actually slept with his shoes on. Usually we don't sleep with his shoes on, so he's like, how can I be this absent-minded? Anyway, he goes to his work. He cleans his bed and stuff. He goes to work. At work, he feels extremely tired. He has a sense of fatigue throughout his body and also a little bit of sickness. So he leaves early and he goes back home to take rest. And while sleeping, he has this very particular vivid dream. In this dream, he is in the middle of a forest, a dense forest full of trees. And in a random place in that forest, he's just digging, like non-stop, just digging in the ground. And this dream doesn't stop until eventually he is woken. He wakes up and notices the same thing like last night. He slept with his shoes on. Getting frustrated, he cleans that thing up, goes to work. At work, again, he's extremely sick. He starts puking and stuff, so he decides, nah, I can't do this. I need to head back home. So before reaching home, he decides to have a look at that same tree once again, because this whole episode of sickness started after he ate the mango. So he goes to the tree and notices the same tree. There's no mango this time, but something is really creepy about this tree. Something is very unsettling. The more he looks at it, he notices something. You know, leaves have veins, right? Like small veins. Something about the veins in this tree feels like it's moving, almost like it's pumping something. Slightly confused, he like looks around and he notices another strange thing. When the wind blows, this tree rustles, but it doesn't rustle naturally. It's almost like this thing is trying to imitate how a tree would rustle. Extremely confused, but also really tired, he heads back home. When he heads home, he's really tired. He's unable to sleep, so he pops in a couple of paracetamol, forces himself to sleep. And while sleeping, he has strange nightmares. And he goes through like a huge disturbing phase and really forces himself to sleep. But the nightmares don't go away eventually until he wakes up. But when he wakes up, he sees pitch blackness. He's in some sort of void or some shit. And he also notices that he's not breathing. He knows he's awake. He can feel his lungs, but it's not working. For some reason, he's still alive. He can feel his heart. It's pumping, but way slower than it should be. He can feel his limbs, but they're not moving. His head is not moving. He's stuck in this void blackness that he's not familiar with. And slowly, he tries to recall what led him to this particular scenario. But the more he thinks, he starts losing memory. He starts forgetting his name, his parents, his hometown. And as he's losing his memory, he's also losing his identity. And then he also starts losing his senses around his arm, but new feelings start emerging. Basically, a feeling of growth around his arms and body throughout. And as this whole process goes on, slowly all his memory fades away. He loses consciousness. And there's no more Shyam. But it's not like Shyam died. He's still there, he's alive. But it's more like he metamorphed. So, few weeks pass by, police are searching for him. His body is nowhere to be found. He's not in his house. Same story, there's mud in his bed. Unable to find him. People look out for him, but he's just missing. Months pass by. There's this fisherman who travels from Tamil Nadu to Kerala. So he's like going on a huge journey from Tamil Nadu to Kerala. So he passes through the village of TARAKOTTAI. While going through that, he goes through a dense forest. And that's when he notices a strange, like a half-buried shuffle. It's shuffled, a half-buried shuffle. He notices it. And out of curiosity, he tries to pull it out. But right before pulling it out, he also notices a plant next to it. He's a fisherman. He's been around fishes, but also plants. So in his over 40 years of experience, he instantly recognizes that short plant is actually a mango plant, which will eventually turn into a tree. Out of curiosity, he looks at that plant for a while, but then he's instantly disgusted because something about the plant, the stem and the branches almost looks like it's a hand trying to come out and seek help. It creeps him out. He drops the shovel and walks away. But if he just had tried to dig it out, see what's underneath, he would have seen a very weird root structure which almost oddly resembled the body shape of Shyam. The end.